I never thought I'd be afraid of someone so beautiful. Her name was Amara. In our village, everyone knew her. She was the kind of girl people would stop to stare at when she passed. Her skin was smooth like polished stone, and her eyes, deep brown, seemed to hold some kind of power over everyone. Men couldn't stop looking, and women couldn't stop envying. But it didn't take long for me to realize that there was something wrong about her. I first met Amara when I moved to the village. My family had sent me to stay with my aunt after my father lost his job in the city. I was new, and naturally, she stood out. Everyone would say, "That's Amara. She's so beautiful, isn't she?" But behind their words, I could hear something else, fear. It wasn't long before I started hearing the rumors. People whispered that strange things happen around her. Small things at first. People's chickens would go missing. Babies would cry non-stop whenever she came near. But I didn't think much of it, until the night of the market. There was an old man, Babu, in our village. He was known for his sharp tongue, always speaking his mind. That night, he said something to Amara. I didn't hear it clearly, but he was laughing, and she was standing there, staring at him with those big brown eyes, not smiling. The next morning, Babu was dead. No one knew what happened. He wasn't sick. He was just gone. They found him in his hut, eyes wide open, mouth twisted as if he had been screaming. The village was quiet after that. People said it was natural, that he was old. But I couldn't stop thinking about how Amara had looked at him the night before. Then it got worse. One evening, my friend Kofi and I were walking near the river. We saw Amara standing alone, just staring at the water. She didn't see us. Kofi dared me to call out to her, to see if she would turn around. I didn't want to, but he laughed and teased me, saying I was scared. So, I did. "Amara!" I shouted. She didn't move at first. Then, slowly, she turned. Her face was blank, like she wasn't really looking at me, but through me. My stomach twisted. She didn't say a word. Just stood there, staring. Kofi grabbed my arm, and we quickly walked away. I could feel her eyes on us the whole time. Later that night, Kofi started coughing. By the next morning, he couldn't get out of bed. His skin was hot, his breathing ragged. The village healer came, but nothing helped. His family was confused, he had been healthy the day before. I tried visiting him, but his mother told me not to come back. Kofi was dead by nightfall. I couldn't sleep after that. I kept thinking about how Amara had stared at us. First Babu, now Kofi. It couldn't be a coincidence. Could it? A few days later, I decided to leave the village. I packed my things and told my aunt I had to go back to the city. I didn't tell her the real reason. I didn't want to stay anywhere near Amara. Not after what I had seen. As I walked down the dusty road, I felt a chill run down my spine. I turned around and there she was, standing at the edge of the village, watching me. Just watching. I could feel the weight of her gaze, but I didn't stop. I kept walking, my heart pounding in my chest. To this day, I don't know what she is. A witch? A curse? All I know is that anyone who crossed her ended up dead. And I wasn't going to be next. Some things you just don't mess with. And Amara was one of them.